I awake sometime later. The world comes back into view in a red haze I cannot place. Through my stained eyes I see, and I am startled by the moon's position in the sky, a couple hours moved. It still must be sprinkling. In the dim light of her luminescence, I see my own wet hands. Not the viscosity of water, something else. The ground too must be softening, radiating the smell of iron that permeates the air around me. Never mind, time to get back. As I walk towards the scene, the road feels longer. My bones and muscles sore and tired for a reason I cannot place. They feel strained, used too much. I can't remember. I see the fire is even more ablaze than I last saw it. They must be waiting up for me. A small smile peeks around the corners of my lips. Iron seeping in. I step into the clearing and it's silent. No sounds of movement save for the crackle of the fire and the frogs far off in a stream that sing in the thickness of the forest. The flame gives way to strange hues of deep red on the surface of the canvas tent. They're always getting careless of the wine. The smell of something off. The smell of something crawled into the walls of an old house and lost until it died. They must have left the meat out. Does decay happen that quickly and quietly? But no, that's not quite it. I tread lightly, hardly breathing. It comes from the fire. I walk over, ever so disturbed by the quiet. The fire dances along an oblong shape. The blade catches in my eyes and ravages my iris and causes them to water. I come face to face with the fire and see what it has eaten. Billy and sage, lit like firewood. I look at the face of the boy I had allowed myself to love, trust, and touch. His freckles sliding off his face in the heat. An L cut across his mouth, giving him a lipstick of vermilion, strangely peaceful enough to kiss. I feel enough pity to find its beauty. Sage, a deep U scored in her pretty little forehead, so close to her hairline it practically overlaps. Her long brown hair dripping with her own blood, a beautiful red, like she always wanted. It makes me smile for her, but only for a second. She settled in next to him. They look so peaceful, so beautiful together. They look just how I'd found them earlier, interlaced in my sleeping bag. There it is. A flash of missed time. I hope that's all. It's gotta be a prank. One of those Luna and her friends have pulled before with the others. She likes to speak for them. She says she's the dominant one, and I'll meet them in time. They just need to be rekindled too. They do things that seem real, but always get a haze of uncertainty over them as time passes. Even Billy and Sage, friends, are in on it, piled beneath them, supporting their frames to the top of the fire, to the peak of the heat. Their faces, however, untouched, unmarked by words they should not have said. I've never seen people with their eyes open. Well, where their eyes should be. I decided to let them sleep. You guys really got me. I laugh and slide into my sleeping bag. I peel open my sleeping bag with my hands. They're attacking my room now, and I watch it come undone. I wipe them in the grass and turn over to face the glow of the fire. Their faces sag with the weight of knowing something, looking as sad as they made me feel. Now they must know how it feels. Strange the way they look at me. So ugly, I think to myself. I turn onto my back. The moon is still there watching me, never letting her gaze up. All that is left of her in the sky is a sliver of who she once was, eaten away by time. I too was growing thin. I too was disappearing. And all they could tell me was how beautiful my glow was. No one really cares when she wanes, as long as she is full again so they may use her light once more. The moon sees. The moon understands. I start to drift again, and I think how funny life can be. But it all seems too real. Senses awakened so strong that it must be. Red, too much of it. The way my fingers stick together when I touch them. Sizzle and crackle of fat burning. The sickly sweet smell of decay. Faces melting off bones. Fingers that taste like metal when I drag them along my lips. It had to be done, you know it did. Come now, go to sleep. We'll finish in the morning. It's good to see you again. We all missed you, and I've been waiting. This journal entry was found among the burned bodies of the Beddington Six, The cause is unknown, the perpetrator unfound. The sixth victim not at the scene was Carlisle Anderson, doctor of psychological medicine. He had an N carved into his temple and bled out from there. He was drugged heavily with antipsychotics, making the wound fatal. The method of these incidents line up with the death of Georgia Miller 4 years prior. No leads, no suspect for now. A potential serial killer scenario, just red hairs found on the scene that match none of the victims. We have yet to connect the letters to anything. L, U, N, and A. Deputy Masterson, Bennington PD, August 29, 1969.